From a very early age, we have all heard you have the right to remain silent. We could pretty much recite that in our sleep, backwards, forwards, and we all have heard it. But too far and too often, many of us do not fully grasp the meaning of these words, that these are constitutional rights that we have that many people are waiving unknowingly. And, our failure to understand this constitutional right has detrimental effects on our lives and our family lives. So having worked in the court system, that's why this bill is extremely important. This bill aims to correct that wrong. It aims to give teeth to our antiquated Miranda rights. And we must ensure that our inaction does not continue the miscarriages of justice.
This is just a common sense piece of legislation. I come to you wearing 3 different hats. I come to you wearing the hat of a state senator. I come to you wearing the hat of an attorney. Most importantly, I come to you wearing the hat of a young Black man who's grown up in the inner city, in the North Bronx, who has had interactions, who has had a lot of friends who have had interactions that didn't go as well as my interactions have gone. And I can tell you that this is necessary. I can tell you that this is required. I can tell you that we need to make sure that young people have counsel, because it doesn't matter how well you believe that you are schooled in the law, how much you think that you know, how much you have read. You need to have counsel with you in these rooms. As an attorney, I can tell you that sometimes it's intimidating to go into courtroom. So what does that mean for a young person that goes into an interrogation room without counsel? What does that mean for them? I can tell you what it means. It means that they need counsel. I can tell you that it means that they need this assistance. I can tell you that it means that we need to get this bill passed. I'm the proud sponsor of this bill because I think that when we look at our criminal justice system, right? And we've done a lot in pretrial, we've done some police reform, but now it's time to make sure we're rounding out what justice reform means. And that means looking at juvenile justice. That means making sure that the folks who may have had the least time on this earth to understand what the gravity of these offenses or these alleged offenses may be, that they have somebody that can assist them in this endeavor.
A couple of issues right off the bat, like the fact that you're not allowed to have your parents talk to your parents before investigations, the fact that kids are allowed, the cops are allowed to lie to you about your rights, the fact that the cops don't even have to tell you what you're going to be questioned about. This is a recipe for false convictions. That's what happened. Then you add in the racial justice component that one of our friends mentioned earlier on this call, that you're exponentially more likely to touch the criminal justice system if you're a Black or brown kid. What you're seeing is real racial injustice.
Miranda rights are really the only thing that's protecting kids and teens from undergoing a high pressure and coercive interrogation. So the research shows that 94% of 12 to 19-year-olds don't realize the serious consequences of waiving their rights. And this risk of a false confession is substantially higher when police interrogate a child compared to when they interrogate an adult, because we know from the research that kids are more vulnerable to giving a false confession than adults are.
An attorney available, you have the right to remain silent until you have had talk with one. That means if you want a lawyer, but a lawyer is not here right now, we will wait to speak with you until a lawyer can get here. Do you understand? All right, now that I've advised you all your rights, are you willing to answer any questions? Depends on the no, it's either yes or no. Yes or no. No. All right, cool. One second. All right. Do you understand what you just said? Yeah. So do you want to talk about it, or want to ask them what's going on, or why are you in this predicament?
I need to know the story, what happened. You
want to ask them what happened?
Yeah, what happened?
I was in a store ordering my food. So you backed up a little bit.
It's actually horrendous, it's immoral, and it should be something that can easily be passed. Anywhere else where it's a middle-class family, they will know to send a lawyer. they will know to have a lawyer there.
So many young people today need to have the resources, not only to thrive and live in their communities, but to continue to show up as their full selves. We shouldn't have to be talking about the basic needs that people have, that young people need. We shouldn't have to be talking about the very bare minimum that our New York State legislature can do, which is providing safeguards and procedural security for young people to not be wrongfully incarcerated, to not be interrogated without the presence of an attorney. And all these things, as Reverend Wendy shared earlier, are things that other families, middle-class families, white folks specifically, have the resources and access to.
I remember one day I was actually on Nostrand Avenue, riding down on a bike. The cops, like the occupying army that they are, were stopped and frisking everybody on the corner. And I was riding on the bike. I was always a talkative kid. And I said, man, if y'all don't leave us the heck alone. And I smiled. And a few seconds later, I was snatched off the bike. The cop threw me on the car and I ended up in the precinct. My grandmother was contacted and they realized that she didn't speak English, and there were no efforts made after that. And, you know, I've had many friends who have similar experiences. So I know firsthand how important this bill is. And I'm ashamed to say that despite all of the work we've done, as Senator Bailey and Assemblywoman Journer had talked about earlier, despite all of the work we've done regarding raise the age, to know that we still have so much more to go. We're still so far away from our goal in securing the same rights that rich white kids have.